I was never really thin. I'd always...
You're what, 6'2", 6'3"?
6'3". I was over 200. I'd started going to the doctor after I'd turned 30. They'd done some labs. I've had high blood pressure for some time. I was on multiple medications for that. All the reasons kind of lined up, and I just decided to go for it. And the most logical way I could think of was just counting calories. I went online, found like a calorie calculator.
Nice.
Figured out what like maintenance calories would be, best estimate for me.
How did you even know that that was like the right way to go?
It seemed like the only sure thing. It's science.
Like I just need to eat less to some degree.
Step one, like I'm fat. I'd like to not be. And then, you kind of get a little more detailed as you go.
Is your wife sad that you lost some of it? Like, did you lose too much chub for her?
I don't think so. I think she's always been like polite.
All right, let's just dive right into some of this hillbilly stuff. I find it fascinating, but I would never do it myself because it sounds dangerous. I saw you probably maybe like 2 years ago, I think at the one of the Joe Rogan shows.
Yep.
And you said that you just got done hunting a bear.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty intense. What kind of bear and where were you at?
I was a black bear, and I was up in Siskiyou County, so almost Oregon border.
And you were hunting the bear with a bow?
Yeah.
That sounds pretty gangster. Do you have like a gun just in case some shit goes down with a bear?
I didn't then, no. Generally, black bears are going to run away from you.
Oh, okay.
You hope.
But a grizzly bear is different.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I'd have a big gun for that.
Would you want to hunt a grizzly bear?
Not enough probably to pay the money to go do it.
Yeah.
But if it was offered to me, I would definitely go.
How'd you get into hunting?
Just kind of grew up with it. My best friend growing up had a ranch and has a ton of pigs on it and deer, and that's just what we did.
You guys ever hunt? I've never been hunting.
No, I haven't.
Used to just practice shooting a bow, but that's about it.
Yeah, shot a bow a couple times, pretty bad at it. Shot a gun a couple times, pretty bad at it.
Yep, same.
No, it's funny. Like to me, it's more rare to know people that don't hunt. I mean,
Right.
most people I associate around everyone hunts,
Wow.
and if you get to a certain age and like haven't killed a buck, you're like the 40-year-old virgin. It's like embarrassing. You don't want to tell anybody.
You're like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
He's not really a full man yet.
Yeah.
So there's like a hunting community out here in Sacramento, California?
Yeah, I think where I am for sure. It's a little more rural, not far from here, but I think there's definitely a big movement of, more people getting into hunting, even people that live in urban areas.
Why do you think that is?
Joe Rogan.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I think it's good.
Good?
I mean,
Okay.
it's funny. Like you can totally tell the person that started hunting because of Joe Rogan.
Are they all decked out in Kuyu perpetually? And
They're all like jacked Black Rifle Coffee t-shirt.
Taking Alpha Brain left and right.
Yeah, I don't
They
know.
have like the most expensive gear, right?
Yeah, we didn't.
It's all brand new.
We didn't grow up hunting and talking about like, have you guys ever tried elk meat? It makes you run faster. And it's like, but whatever gets people into it. I think it's one of those things. I kind of steal this from Steve Rinella, I guess too. But you got to have people that are interested in it that vote. Otherwise, it goes away, especially in California.
Are you guys are any hunters worried about like the overpopulation of it? Because I know, I don't know, but I have heard that you have to like apply for certain tags to be able to hunt certain animals. Has there been like an issue where it's like, holy shit, like it's 2 seasons in a row where I didn't get selected?
Oh yeah, there's tags out there that you'll have 20 years of applying for and never get.
Oh, damn.
like what?
Well, I have 14 years of applying for a California elk tag, and I'll probably never draw it in my life. But yeah, no, that is part of it.
What do you got to do? Go to a different state?
Yeah, even all Western states are, really good units are just getting harder and harder to get a tag for. And it is because more people are hunting. I think it's just also there's more people in general. Another big one too is a lot of the tag quotas are based off of populations of wild game. So if you have reintroduction of wolves, protection of mountain lions, other predators, you get less animals, which means less availability to go hunting.
Have you noticed a big difference in your hunting when you were heavier? Because I think you were coming off of losing, what, like 60 pounds, 70 pounds?
Close to it. Well, about 75.
Damn.
Yeah. No, I hunted Idaho last year chubby, and it was difficult. And even chubby, I'm mentally tough enough to get to the top of the mountain. But the difference is on a multiple day hunt, you get there and back, and can you get up and do it again the next day? You're just sore, and you know, trying to get that strength up the
lower
next day.
back pump that only true chubby people understand.
Yeah. And,
shins pumped, calves pumped.
So that was a motivator. But yeah, I hunted Idaho again this year, 75 pounds lighter, and I mean, I could sprint the same mountain that would have killed me last year. So everything feels better.
What's your favorite thing to hunt?
So I went elk hunting for the first time this year. I've deer hunted my entire life. I just never had the time or the money to go elk hunting. And it was an archery hunt, and it was the most fun I've ever had. Even without, I didn't get
Elk
one.
are huge.
Yeah.
Massive.
There was bulls everywhere screaming. I was under 40 yards a bunch of times, and I didn't want to kill a little one. I don't need the meat. So I was looking for a big mature one, and I could have killed elk, but I just didn't quite get the perfect shot on the one I wanted, but it was the most fun I've ever had.
What do you think led you to gain some of that weight in the first place?
I was never really thin. I'd always...
You're what, 6'2", 6'3"?
6'3". I was over 200 in high school. Always just the same kind of little bit chubby, bigger guy, but with some extra on top. And this time around, well, I guess the question's what gained the weight. I think it's just time. I think it was like you put on a few pounds every year, you don't notice. And when you're not stepping on the scale for a long period of time, you jump on, you don't remember what the last number was. And I finally hit like 260 and fresh off that difficult hunt. And
Were you,
there's chubby one.
other than hunting, were you exercising?
Not really. I think one of the things more recently that had a little bit of extra weight gain was I have a physical job, but as our business has grown, I've done a little more office, a little more desk sitting, and with that, still
Delegating people to do the hard stuff.
Yeah, eating the same, but just not doing the work. I think that kind of ticked up the weight gain a little bit.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about your business. How long have you had that for?
Yeah, so it's a country butcher, pretty small butcher shop, retail. We do a lot of ranch butchering for people that raise cattle or hogs or sheep. We have a retail store it's outside of Marysville. But prior to that, I was in a couple different slaughterhouses. So it's always been a physical job until recently. I got good employees now. Our website's real old.
Some of the, well, perhaps some of the answers to dropping some weight were right in front of you. Well, how did you change your diet?
So I hit there was a bunch of different reasons, I guess, to start with of why I finally decided to lose weight. And I'd started going to the doctor after I'd turned 30. They'd done some labs. I've had high blood pressure for some time. I was on multiple medications for that. High cholesterol, kind of a weird liver enzyme number. And
now, since you were 30?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And so I'm 35 now, so I was 34. And turning 35 isn't old, but it's getting to the point where the next big one's 40 and where do you want to be? So that was a big piece of it. I'd had some back problems. I bulged a disc in my back, which I imagine not packing around a bunch of extra weight would feel good. The hunting was hard. My kids are getting older. I want to keep up with them. Had a new one on the way. So all the reasons kind of lined up, and I just decided to go for it. And the most logical way I could think of was just counting calories.
So when you say counting calories, did you start weighing your food and counting macros, or was it something a bit more general?
It was pretty basic. So I just went online, found a calorie calculator.
Nice.
figured out what like maintenance calories would be, best estimate for me, and then it subtracted a shitload from that. And
What website did you use? Because there are people like get so into the weeds, but what did you look up? Because you said just any.
it was like the first one on Google.
I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Guys, the precision nutrition one, their calculator is really dope. But like, I think this is awesome because it kind of just shows that like some people are like, oh, I don't need to use the right calculator. Well, you just pulled up the first one on Google.
Yeah. I think
Went with that.
if you're doing it and you're not losing weight, you got the wrong number.
And that's all the time we got. He said it all right there.
Yeah.
Yo.
Then I had an app that I downloaded. I was doing it all pen and paper for a while. And then we were in Texas and I didn't have my pen and my paper. So I downloaded some app and just kind of tracked everything through that.
Did you learn some stuff by writing it down and by being diligent?
Yeah, I'd learned I'd never really thought about food before. It was funny, I was talking to your brother and he had a metric that was exactly what I came up with. And so I knew protein was important. I knew I didn't want to lose whatever muscle I had. So the number I came up with was for every 10 calories a food has, it should have about a gram of protein.
Perfect.
And so I thought anything that's more protein than that, that's what you're eating. If it's less than that and you want to eat it, go for it. But you know this is a snack. This isn't, so I was just kind of ran with those two ideas. And
Right.
I mean, I lifted 6 days a week. Was on the treadmill, full incline, just at a mile a day.
If you were snacking, were you more conscious of maybe how much of that you had, or did you just kind of tell yourself like, dude, you can't really have any of that because you don't know how to control it, even when you are writing it down?
I just found Quest chips and went crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, those, I mean, like, just protein and calorie wise, you're almost eating chicken.
Right, yeah.
They're awesome.
Yo, those not just the Quest chips, but like the Quest Reese's, the Quest.
Quest Reese's.
What is the Quest bar? That's like the Hero bar.
Hero
Dude,
bars are
unbelievable.
too good.
If you had the Quest Hero bars,
No,
Yeah. Those
so you just stuck with the chips.
I got the Quest protein bars too, and then, I mean, I had like full Quest days, a couple days there where I just like got home and it's like, dude,
then you just like shit a brick and you're like, all right, well, I probably need some regular food here.
Yeah, like a week later.
You know what? One of the funnest things to do is like make yourself like a sick ass protein shake with whole milk, right? Maybe put a little bit of carnation malted milk in there, and then have like some Quest chocolate bars or whatever with it. Like, yo, you're still getting in all the protein, but now you're just having a little bit of a party.
Yeah, you're having a little bit of fun with it.
Yeah. No, it
Did it take a
didn't-
lot of extra time?
no.
Nice.
Like, did you
Yes and
prep
no, I
stuff?
guess.
I mean, it sounds like you bought a bunch of Quest stuff, and that was some of
Yeah.
your prep.
I just went to Walmart and bought a bunch of Quest stuff. I do understand, like, so I own the business. The gym's right down the street. I'd hit a point in the day randomly and just go get a workout in.
Yeah,
and
you
I know
own
that
a butcher shop. You got all the meat you want.
yeah, for most people, that's challenging. It's hard to get up early, and with a physical job, it'd be hard to do it afterwards. So I
But
had
you
that.
do have wife and kids, and
Yeah.
you are a business owner. Like you
Yeah.
still have to do a lot of stuff in a day.
Yeah. What I found with the treadmill, we have one at the house, and like I would walk in the door, drop my stuff, and just get it over with. Just before I did anything.
And if you didn't do that,
If I sat down and thought about doing it for a while, it just got harder. But I was doing 1 mile full incline. First time I did it, took like 20 minutes. I mean, just fast walk. And then by the end, I was doing it before this hunt that I went on with 50-pound plates in a backpack for a mile
Damn.
as fast as I could. And then I would drop the pack and do another one where I could
Is your,
almost run the whole mile.
is your wife sad that you lost some of it? Like, did you lose too much chub for her?
I don't think so. I think she's always been like polite. She was probably perfectly
She was
okay.
probably like, yeah,
But,
this is a good thing.
But she's awesome. So we just had our third kid.
Congratulations.
and So what was really helpful for me was that, she was supportive, not just in her words, but, she got on board with the same thing too.
Oh, awesome.
So she actually
That's great.
she lost about 40 pounds
Damn.
while growing a baby. So
Wow.
So
While pregnant?
Well, I'm sorry, it might have been 25, but then after baby, so she was riding
That's
her.
incredible.
She was on her Peloton the day before having the baby.
What?
Yeah. So so it's been a mutual, and we're both pretty pumped on just getting in better shape.
So wait, do you have like a normal treadmill, or do you also use the Peloton? Is it a Peloton bike she has?
It's a Peloton bike, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a fan. It just takes too long.
Okay. Yeah.
I get mentally bored before I get tired. So like that full incline treadmill, just you can crank out some calories.
Yeah.
How fast are you going?
So by the end, I can do it. I can do a mile full incline now in probably 12 something, which is.
Oh, you're going what, like 5 miles, maybe almost 5 or 6 miles an hour?
Yeah, and it does not sound impressive. It's
No,
like
that's
a
a lot.
12-minute mile, but I haven't run a flat ground mile, but it's that incline makes it
15
so
or
hard.
20% or
I
something?
think it's 15.
That's a lot, yeah.
So for me, it was just seeing where it was and how hard it was as long as it's going the right direction.
Are there any other tools that you got for the house to make it easier? Because that's one thing that we talk about is just trying to keep things around
Have
you
stuff around, like these
Yeah.
grippers and everything.
that encourage movement. So is there anything else, or was it the
Not
treadmill?
really.
Yeah.
I did pretty much lifted weights during the day at the gym, knock out a little cardio when I get home, and that was the exercise.
Nice.
I didn't do much else.
We're leaving out the fact that you took growth hormones, testosterone,
Yeah.
tons of performance-enhancing
Yeah.
drugs. We're just going to leave that out of the story.
Pretty much everything I could find.
How did the lifting go, and did you...
That was a joke, guys. Someone's going to believe.
I know.
If I'm what a guy on steroids looks like.
Then we got to rethink it, right? When it comes to lifting, did you have somebody kind of lead you through some of that, or do you have a background with some lifting?
I've always kind of like half-ass lifted weights on and off my entire life. So I knew enough, but no, I just kind of went in and I learned a lot. This is probably the longest and most serious I've lifted. So I learned a lot along the way of what works, doesn't work. I learned in a massive calorie deficit, stop trying to lift more than you did. It took some time to just accept that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been 6 days a week in the gym and just watching my bench like go down.
And what about your general? What about like also your general motivation, like during the day? Like, did you notice that, like, hey, maybe I pumped the brakes on the calories a little too much?
I had a couple days. There was some. So what I was actually doing too is I wasn't limiting myself to a certain amount of calories per day. I was going by the week.
Smart.
So what I was trying to do was bank up enough calorie deficit during the week to have like a pretty good meal and some beers and stuff on the weekend.
Okay. Okay.
And
Light
so
beer or real beer?
I did switch to light beer.
Okay.
That was a big one.
What's the big? Is it just a calorie difference?
It's just a huge calorie.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I was drinking like the beer I liked. The 6-pack had like 1,300 calories.
There's some people that switch to just light beer. That's the only change that they make, and they lose like 6-8 pounds.
Yeah, that would be. That's my like keep it off strategy. Is just stop doing that.
Okay. You don't have to stop beer.
Yeah.
Totally. Just go with the light beer. Casey Short told us
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Power Project family, if you're trying to increase your muscle mass, if you're trying to lose body fat, if you're trying to stick to your nutrition plan, if you're trying to get fit, pretty much if there's anything you're trying to do for your health, we know that sleep is the biggest determining factor to help you get from point A to point B. That's why we've been sleeping on 8 Sleep mattresses for probably more than 2 years now. And the main reason is the technology behind the Pod Pro. Now, the Pod Pro is like the Tesla of beds. It will change its temperature based off of how you're sleeping during the night. And if you have a partner that's sleeping on the other side, they could have their own temperature settings. We all sleep hot here, and I used to wake up in a puddle of my own sweat.
Gross.
That doesn't happen anymore because of the 8 Sleep mattress, and I've been getting the best sleep of my life. Now, if you don't want to replace your mattress, you can just get the Pod Pro cover, and you can put that over your current mattress to get all the benefits of 8 Sleep. But if you also need to replace your old nasty mattress, you can get the Pod Pro cover and the 8 Sleep mattress. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yes, you guys got to head over to 8sleep.com/power project, and you guys will automatically receive $150 off of your order. Again, 8sleep.com/power project. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
So I would come out a Sunday, generally, a bigger eating day, like full calories. And I realized, especially when I had extra weight on me, on a Monday after that, I really didn't need to eat that much. I felt fine. I mean, I'd come out of Mondays with like 800 calories and hit the gym and do everything. By Tuesday, maybe a little hungrier, and so as that week progressed and it was like a longer time at that lower calorie, I'd start getting hungrier and hungrier and kind of roll into the weekend, have a big old feast, and then start over. And it really worked good for me, just that weekly. And it's like, if you want to have a good weekend, that shit starts Monday, and you got to you have like a little safe you can stuff calories into all week long, and then you crack that thing on Saturday.
Or sometimes it could be a birthday or a celebration or something, right? You kind of just the party's on Wednesday, so you save for that instead of the Saturday or Sunday that you do, right?
And it's like if you, for some reason, go hog wild on a Thursday,
wild,
your weekend just got a little shittier. So, so I think as long as like it's simple in theory, I think the execution can be hard, but in theory, I mean, here's the numbers and here's how it works. I calculated and put on my calendar in December what I was going to weigh at the first of every month, all the way down to like 185. And outside of the very last number, I was within a few pounds. So it was 10 pounds a month.
Did you get on the scale every day?
Oh, multiple times. I was obsessed.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And they're actually like, we can say whatever we want about like research, but that is an element of weight loss that seems to be good, is that people know how much they weigh. They weigh themselves frequently.
Yeah. Well, that was, I think I wouldn't have crept up so high had I been, and I'm not weighing myself a bunch of times a day now, but if I'm 185 and a week later I'm 190 and then you see 193, it's like, okay, something's happening here. If you're lifting super hard or something, there's some reason you can think of, but if you're not, you know what that is.
I think the frequent weighing is important because a lot of times it's just water.
Yeah.
So the more in contact you are with that scale, the more that you can see like, oh, well, I drank a lot of water last night, or I ate and drank a lot yesterday. So you could have big swing. Being 6'3", 8 or 10 pounds sometimes can happen.
And I just kind of tried to like squint at an average.
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
No,
did you pay attention to anything else other than scale? Like, were you looking at like clothes or doing anything like that?
Yeah. I wasn't paying attention until all of a sudden it was like, I mean, you have a belt that you're on the last notch on, and like this one I've got like holes drilled to get it smaller. But when clothes don't fit because you're getting fat, it sucks.
Yeah.
When clothes don't fit because you're losing weight and you were fat, it's pretty.
Why don't they make pants that actually fit? Like when you're gaining weight, that's what you're saying. You're like, I don't understand, man. Like, why don't they make clothes? This shirt doesn't fit. These pants don't fit. This is ridiculous.
Like, more guys should just wear the stretchy pants like the girls do.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
You got more room.
Yeah. So I've had to go buy all new jeans, new shirts, and it was, it's expensive and all that, but it's, it's the reward. I went from a 38 to I could wear a 30.
Yo.
Damn.
Yeah. Yo.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Damn. I wasn't even aware like that you were on. It was kind of neat. Like I wasn't even aware you were on a weight loss journey. I actually didn't even think of you as being fat because you're 6'3", and somebody holding 250, 260. I wasn't like, oh, there's Adam, the big fat guy, or anything. I'd never thought of you that way. And I saw you with a picture of I think maybe announcing that you're having a baby, or maybe it was after your child was born. You had a picture on Instagram, and I was just kept looking at it. I was like, what the I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, is he like training for something or running or like some sort of like hunting thing that he's prepping for or something like that? So I was like blown away by it. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. A lot of people have asked me like, are you okay? Yes, I did this on purpose.
Hey bro, can I take you to lunch?
Yeah.
Buy you a sandwich?
Yeah. So no, it's one of those things, and I think
are you okay? But they weren't asking you if you were okay before.
Yeah. No.
Which is funny.
I'm better now. Yeah. Well, and I mean, I was on high blood pressure medicine, like I said, and had high cholesterol and all that
Have
stuff.
you gotten your blood checked since, and have you seen some improvements?
Oh, I don't have no blood pressure. There's no blood pressure medicine. Cholesterol's perfect. And so it was just, all it was
blood pressure. Just for people to understand, blood pressure is like a really, it's not something to really mess around with. Like, I think people's cholesterol can go a little this way, that way, and you want to start to pay attention to all these health markers. But blood pressure can be a really devastating one. It can creep up on people, and then that's how people end up with like things like strokes and all kinds of stuff. So if your blood pressure is high, especially like there are a lot of power lifters, their blood pressure can get really high. That is something that you want to avoid as much as possible.
Yeah. Well, and the kind of double-edged sword too was one of those medications. I didn't know it, but it actually lowers your metabolism quite a bit. It's slowing your heart rate, little anti-anxiety effect. So I think, that obviously isn't going to help you not gain weight.
Right.
Is there anything that you guys like, so I don't know if you mentioned if you guys were eating very differently before, but is there anything you guys just don't purchase anymore that maybe you used to get a lot? Like you mentioned the normal beer, any other type of changes within that?
I stopped drinking like orange juice a lot.
Okay.
Not putting down like cups of milk. I would sit down with dinner and have like a glass or two of milk every night. And it's just stuff I'd never thought of. Once you dive, and that's where I think I'm not counting calories anymore, but the time that I spent doing it, you learn so much that you just automatically know certain things.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what's going to help me hopefully to, maintain it. But I never sat down and thought about how many calories is this meal and then looked at like what you just drank with the meal.
I think it's such a valuable lesson because I think that when we get together, when we have like gatherings, there's always like chips out. There's always like some sort of calories out. There's some sort of food out. And you just start getting in conversation with somebody and you're like dipping your chip in something and you're chewing on this and chewing on that. And you're not really paying attention. You could have very easily just went through like 300 calories before the barbecue is done and before whatever meal is that you're about to eat. So I think one of the greatest practices that people can mess with is just simply just write stuff down for a couple of days and try to be honest with yourself on kind of a normal eating pattern. And then look at it and you'll be like, you'll probably eat a lot more calories than you ever really thought.
Yeah. And little changes too. Like we found like a keto bread that's 35 calories a slice.
Do you know the brand?
I don't know. It just says keto on the
Keto
front.
bread.
They have it at Costco.
But it's like, a normal slice of bread's like 110 or 120. So if you're eating a sandwich and you still want a sandwich, you can still have the sandwich, minus that difference of a lot of calories.
These foods are just becoming more and more available.
Yeah.
You look at the grocery store, go to like a 7-Eleven or a convenience store, and you look at all the drinks they have. They have a lot of Gatorade. They have a lot of Monster energy drinks, and they have a lot of them have a lot of calories in them. But now there's options to where they don't have calories in them, or they have much lower calories. And the whole entire grocery store, if you're actually paying attention, the whole entire grocery store is turning that way. Everything from your yogurt, your cottage cheese, to your bread. There's even like reduced calorie peanut butter. You got that PB2, which gives you like a peanut butter flavor that everybody loves, but it gives you like, I don't know, like 40% or something less calories.
It's like 50%. Yeah.
50%. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. No, we just kind of found some things that worked, stopped buying the BS. The hard thing for us is at the time we have 3 kids now, but 2 young kids, it's like the goldfish crackers, all the snack food, and you're starving. It's like you open up the door and have to stare at it, and they're still going to eat it. And my kid has like a resting 8-pack and just smashes all the food he can see. And so that was kind of the joke my wife and I talked about was like, why you're getting fit. My son's kind of getting to be older, and like I want to be able to kick this kid's ass for as long as possible. I got to keep in competition with him.
How old is he?
He's 6. He can do pull-ups, he can do push-ups. Whoa. He's a monster.
Wow. That's cool. Have you have any of the diet changed for the whole house too? Like, have you guys just maybe been a little bit more conscious with how much the kids are eating or any of that kind of thing?
Not so much yet with them. I mean, they're both young and skinny, and we don't feed them too much garbage anyways. They eat the goldfish and the cookies and stuff.
You guys usually have dinner together type thing? Yeah.
Through the diet, we kind of like, they would have their dinner, but my wife and I were just kind of like fend for ourselves. There's nothing that, we did some of each, I guess. We would cook, like a big dish with chicken and some stuff and divide it, and I'd take some for lunch. But she has kind of her way, and she she doesn't really like some of the things that I like. So,
My wife will sometimes try some stuff that I make, and she's like,
Nope.
yeah.
well, I don't know why. She's like surprised when she tries something that it's like not to her liking, but I'm like, I made it for me.
Yeah. So being that you guys are the butchers, did you have to change your cuts of meats as you were coming down in weight, or did you stick to the same things that you liked before?
No, so I switched basically, and it was again just from the calorie number, from eating stuff like ribeyes to more like New Yorks and top sirloins.
Okay.
Just that the fat is where all the calories are. So as I could just kind of look at which steak am I going to eat, that answered the question. So
Yeah, New York strip is very lean, especially like I think when you look up the calories of a New York strip, I think it is kind of including that chunk of fat. And if somebody wanted to cut out more fat or more calories, they could just choose how much of that they're going to eat.
I was cutting that off, and I would use that to kind of like grease the pan.
Oh, nice.
And then cook the lean steak and eat it.
I like that move.
Yeah, it goes good.
That fat though.
In your opinion, what's the best cut of red meat for your money?
You asked me this one before. I'll probably have a different answer.
Maybe top 3.
So we have one in the case now, which is it's called Terrace Major or Petite Tender, and it's a lean cut of meat.
It's like a rotator cuff,
It's
right?
Petite.
Yeah, I
tender,
mean you
no.
probably know it from
Yeah.
where it is on a human. I can tell you where it is on a beef.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we're eating rotator cuff.
it's. I almost brought you some. I should have.
This is going to help people's rotator cuff, by the way.
Yeah.
You can skip the Tommy John surgery. Just eat some rotator cuff of a cow.
But it's a lean cut, and it's tender, and it's kind of almost like a tri-tip. But it's affordable, and so we've been selling quite a bit of that and eating a lot of it. It's popular in restaurants a lot of times. If you see like a steak bite, that'll be the cut that they're using.
They have it at Bud's in Dixon. You ever been to Bud's?
No,
Oh man, that's totally up your alley.
really,
Yeah, you would love it.
I'll have to try that out.
Yeah, so that's a petite tender.
Yeah, so those are really good for the price. There's not a lot of beef that's cheap these days, though.
Tri-tip is pretty good, but yeah, it does get. Yeah, you're right. They all get pretty pricey. I'm thinking like New York strip is amazing, but those are expensive too.
Yeah, I mean that would be a good one. And then we talked about last time about chuck eye steak. It's a hard one to find. Like Costco will have it a lot, similar to a ribeye but cheaper. If you're doing, the other thing that I fell in love with cooking wise through this diet was Instapot.
Oh yeah.
Anything you throw in an Instapot is pretty good.
Tell me, how do you use it? Because I have an Instapot, but I literally have never used it. I just use the air fryer. So what do you do?
Yeah. So what I was doing was
This is gonna
taking
get good. I'm getting excited over here.
when I was at extreme, most bang for my buck calories, I was doing a lot of chicken breasts. I couldn't stand another chicken breast. And so what I was doing was throwing them in the Instapot and they'll shred. And I was adding like canned jalapenos, onion, all of that, and then a little bit of like a green. So you almost make like a shredded chicken chili verde.
What liquid do you put in there? Just water? Or?
I just dumped the jalapeno juice in it.
Just
Right out of
so
the
everyone
can.
knows, you don't even need any liquid in there.
Yeah, you don't have to. No,
You don't need any liquid in there. You can just cook with nothing, but it doesn't really make any sense. But
Yeah.
it'll come out really good.
Yeah, so I was making a lot of like, you kind of start searching for some flavor on a diet after a while too. And
So
so
I need to
like,
text my girlfriend to pull the oxtail out
Yeah.
of the
yeah,
freezer.
it'd be perfect.
That'll be perfect. So that'll be incredible. Or like lamb works really good. Chicken works really good. Beef kind of always turns into like a stew
It gets
sort
a little,
of thing.
it can get a little stringy. But, Depending
Wait,
on
what'll
the
get
cut.
stringy?
Beef sometimes.
It can.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's it's so, and like, I mean, if you wanted pulled pork and you were going to spend 10 hours on a smoker, it's going to be better. Or you can throw it in an Instapot for like half an hour and eat it for dinner.
yeah.
So I was just dumping stuff in the Instapot.
Yeah,
But
chili
that
verde.
chicken one was a
Way to
real
go.
staple for us.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Thank you. Truly.
And then like a normal guy would like put that on rice or something, but I just powered
Just ate it.
hot chicken. Yeah. So
No, that's smart though, because I fucking hate chicken breast, man.
It
I'll
gets old.
only eat chicken thigh. Yeah.
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 well, I was counting calories to the point where I was eating like breasts over thighs. Now I'm
Breast
probably
over thighs.
I might even.
Wow.
I'm a thigh man, truly, through and through.
Yeah, I might never eat.
I'm just trying to think
again.
of like the flexibility on that.
Yeah. Walked into that.
Yeah, now I can't continue the podcast anymore.
That's all you can think about.
Yeah. How is your body feeling? Like losing the weight and being like in better shape and everything? And
Yeah, really
how's your
good.
back and stuff like that?
So I had a bulge disc probably about a year ago. It happened twice where I was, debilitated for a couple days. Another little piece that kind of had the motivation to drop some pounds. But
Were you just picking something up and it happened?
one of them, literally, I was just standing there on ice skates. We were ice skating in Tahoe with my son, and I had ice skated, and I just was standing in the moment, and it was just like someone hit me in the back with a 2x4.
You were standing still.
Mm-hmm. And
wow,
it was brutal. So not that it'll never happen again, but I think obviously the odds are lower. I can lift now, and I'm not worried about it. And I can't remember how the other one happened. But no, my body feels good. It's like I was saying, overall, I've lost some strength. If you looked at like bench, I was never that strong anyways, but walking in chubby and not working out, I could bench like 250 and that's probably 235 maybe now.
Damn.
A small hit.
Yeah. But it's like, but 250 at 260 or 235 at 180. Like, I don't feel less.
I could still put up over 250, bro.
Yeah. I don't feel less strong.
Cheeks all filled out.
Yeah. And that's like the wrong metric too. Cause when I walked in the gym, I could maybe do one pull up and probably close to 20 now.
Nice.
Yeah.
You invited us over before. Well, me, I didn't even relay the message to anybody, but you,
Of course you did.
let me finish my sentence. He invited us over to move, to basically unload a truck full of like meat. And he's like, you guys got to feel how heavy these fucking things are. And it's just like a truck full of
hard work.
I don't know, like half a cow or something. I don't know. It was wild looking. I was like, I don't know if we can move that.
Yeah, it was quarters of beef, but it's a funny one for, we got like skinny guys at the shop that can do this.
I saw some of those guys loading around some of that stuff, and it was wild. I was like, and one of the guys is a older gentleman. I think he might be in his 60s or something.
But we just thought it'd be hilarious to see a bunch of like jacked guys come and like struggle
Just
really
get
hard.
our asses kicked.
It'd just be a shit talking fest for us.
The organs were super interesting. Like when I went to your shop and we filmed some Steak Shake commercial stuff over there, and
Eating raw liver.
seeing the size of the liver and the heart and all that stuff was just insane.
Yeah.
Do you cook any of that stuff too, or nah?
No.
Okay.
Nah, he's like,
Not for you.
I'll eat. I don't mind heart. Liver is just
It's a little
I'm
much.
not a fan. Yeah. Tastes like you're eating chalk or something.
How do you cook the heart?
I usually, I guess I haven't lately, but normally it'd be like breaded and fried.
Okay.
Yeah.
At your store, you have stuff like seasoned, like pre-seasoned, pre-marinated and stuff. And I think that's one of the things that makes your store unique. You have a bunch of different cuts with a bunch of different flavoring on it. I think that's amazing because sometimes you don't know what to do with particular types of meat, and you have it packaged up just perfectly.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a different model, I'd say, than maybe what someone would expect walking into a butcher shop. The facility is primarily there to cut carcasses. And so it's not like we're just standing there waiting to cut another steak for the case. So our model in there is basically built for people to load their freezers. It's a lot of vacuum sealed and frozen, bundles and packages where you can come in and customize and there it is.
Chowing down.
Customize and build out what you want. But we're not a place where people come like one day a week for a steak. People come up and they'll buy 100 pounds of meat and see you next month.
They might even have like a pre-order or something in, right?
Yeah, and we have tons of customers that drive up from Sacramento, all over the place, and they just come once a month, load up, and see you next month.
That's awesome.
There's one customer that's hilarious. The guy that runs our retail, Zach, they'll come in and they'll just hand him like X amount of money and walk across the street to the bar. They don't tell him what they want. They just trust him. And so he'll just build them like this amazing giant package of stuff that he thinks they'll like. And they come back and pick it up and leave and then come back the next month.
You really can't go wrong with meat, though.
Look into my eyes. Now, I know that you want to be looking better. You want to be going walking the streets being like, damn, I look and feel good, because then everyone's going to be looking at you. That's why we've partnered with Dietary clothing, so you can stop wearing your ripped up tank and your long shorts and step your athleisure game up. Dietary has clothes that you can wear to dinner with a date, or you can wear it in the gym. Personally, some of our favorites are the Ponto Performance line, and it has this dream knit fabric, trademarked, that literally feels like baby skin on your skin. It sounds kind of weird, but when you put it on and feel it, my God, that will change your life. Right here, this is the Boulevard shirt jacket. You guys are always wondering what kind of long sleeves we're wearing. It stretches, it feels good. Oh, Andrew, where can they step their game up?
Absolutely. You guys got to head over to viori.com/power project. That's VUORI.com/power project, and you'll automatically receive 20% off your order. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
How did you get in? How did you get into this? I think maybe earlier in the gym, you might have mentioned that you worked at like a slaughterhouse or something like that too.
Yeah, so that's a good one. So I actually have a geology degree. And while I was in school, had a roommate that worked at the university, has a meat processing facility. And I'd always hunted. I just wanted in so bad and I needed a job. So I just kept showing up out there. They said they wouldn't hire me because I had the wrong degree, but they couldn't really stop me from volunteering. And so I went out there and volunteered and asked for a job, and they said no. And so I came back the next day and just kind of told them eventually you're going to start paying me for this. And eventually they did, and they hired me. And
what is the right major, by the way?
Like animal science or something agriculture.
Gotcha.
But by the time I'd graduated, I'd gotten pretty good at the work. And I had my joke was I could either be like the dumbest geologist or a smart butcher. So, but by the time I'd graduated, the guy that had run the facility forever had retired.
Yeah.
And so I actually got the job running it and ran that for a few years. Wow. Got offered a job running a new slaughterhouse that was built. Ran that for a few years, and then had the opportunity to buy our business now, and here we are. So
it seems like it seems like in terms of like keeping the meat fresh and all, I mean, it seems like there's a lot of things to learn and did you just kind of figure out as you were going along?
Yeah, I guess so. It's kind of nice. Like I always joke too, my buddy's a lawyer and he'll like let papers pile up and stuff. It's like, it's not a job that allows you to procrastinate. You get stuff in and there's a clock. And if I was someone that could like put this off till tomorrow, I totally would. But you can't. It's right now. So just it seems pretty straightforward and obvious.
Yeah.
Keep it
you
cold
guys are fast. Like I remember seeing you guys like cutting up the meat and stuff. I don't know how you understand like what to discard and and where does some of that go? Like you don't just like throw it out in the garbage, right? Like it's got to go to
So it goes to a rendering facility and they produce like byproducts, and I think they make like a lot of cosmetics and stuff with it. So it all goes somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's super fascinating watching you guys just slice shit up. I'm like, how do they know what's the good piece and what's the bad piece?
Just over and over and over again of doing it.
A lot of trial and error, a lot of complaining from customers, and then you start to nail it down.
We got a good process of not letting people touch anything important until they're good enough to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So
you brought us some deer, which I've never had, so I'm excited to try that deer. But like, what other meats do you guys sell outside of just beef?
So we don't sell deer.
Okay. Can't wait to try it anyway.
Yeah. But we sell beef, pork, chicken, lamb, goat sometimes. Okay. We sell whole hogs and we can cut and wrap for people. It's pretty much it. I'm trying to think. We have, some like ground bison and stuff like that, and like farm raised ground elk, I believe. So there's some stuff in there, but the majority is beef, pork, chicken.
Got it.
And then we're known for our smoked products. So smoked sausage, bacon, ham. We do thousands and thousands of pounds of ham and prime rib for the holidays.
Wow.
The stuff that's smoked, does it also get cooked, or is smoking it cooking it?
Yeah, so I say smoked. It's smoked and fully cooked. But like bacon, you're gonna fry it again anyway. Sausage, you're probably not gonna just pull it out of the package and eat it cold. You can. I have. But no, so that's the one thing I would say, like historically with the facility that I bought, it's always been known for its bacon and ham. And there's actually an award for the best bacon, ham, and smoked turkey in the state of California that's named after the person that originally started the business that we bought. It's called the Wayne Hall Award. And we've pretty much never entered and not won that award.
Shit.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's still there, still good. There's a lot of other butcher shops that all make really good stuff. Anyone's, it's not like it's better than someone else's, but it's not bad.
Are things getting a little bit more difficult just to run a butcher shop these days, as far as like maybe regulations or the push to like stay away from meat and stuff like that?
Not really.
Goodness.
Not in my experience. There's a lot of difficulties within the industry. There's so much like that's above my head, honestly. But I'd say the biggest one is just like everything else in the world, things are getting more expensive. So when you walk in and you see a price tag on a steak somewhere, there's probably a reason if it's expensive. The market's pretty wild up and down. Everything, the cost of your labor, everything in the equation, just like everything else, is getting more expensive. But it's still there. So
and the area that you're in, you probably get a lot of support, right, from the local people and all that kind of stuff. And then you were mentioning in the gym that you are like part of some boards and some things like that. It's probably for agriculture and things like that, right?
Oh yeah. So we try to do any business. You get a lot of requests for donations and things like that. And I think at some point we had to come up with kind of like a policy or a purpose here. So what we've landed on is, we do as much as we can locally for kids, school programs, 4-H, FFA. And so, it's a good thing to do, but on the flip side too, it's a lot of people out there eating our product at these events, which in turn, if someone goes to a benefit dinner, has the best tri-tip they've ever had, knows where it came from, it's like, I win too. Right. So it's kind of that win-win. But that's really helped to build our local reputation and do good things, hopefully.
Yeah, you sent over a video of your daughter riding on a sheep.
Yeah. Yep.
What is this sheep riding all about? And
So,
how do we get involved?
Yeah. I think you might be a little big.
Oh, shit.
So it's like the kid equivalent of like bull riding. It's something for the kids at the rodeo. It's called mutton busting. It's the first time that either of my kids had done it. I was actually, let's watch this video.
Oh, here we go.
Let me pull this up really quick. Bam, bam. There it is. I don't have the sound on, but
Whoop. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
The way she kind of bounced off the ground.
yeah, she's tough. But so basically, it's like kid that hangs on the longest wins.
Yeah.
And my daughter Harper is 4 years old, and she took second place. So
That's awesome.
she's
adorable.
We're pretty proud of her.
How old is your youngest? Just a couple weeks?
Couple weeks, yeah.
Wow.
A few. My wife's gonna be mad for not knowing that exact answer.
That's a lot to juggle. To juggle 3 kids, your own business. When you were losing the weight, were there times where that slowed down quite a bit, or were you able just to continually make progress throughout the whole thing?
It was pretty steady until I got to like that last 5 pounds, because I didn't know what like the right number to end on was. When you start losing weight and you don't know if you should weigh 180 or 190. Kind of find out when you get there. I'd said 185 just because 75 pounds was a neat number. And so I probably was fine by the time I got to like 190, but I'd said 185, so I had to go that last distance. That last 5 pounds took a little longer.
Were there like some days where you like screwed up and then you were like, oh, let's get back on track because it's about the calories per week?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I was shooting for, in the beginning, I was going for like 1,300 calories a day, pretty low. And then there'd randomly be like a 6,000 calorie day where I just like completely shit the bed.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah. It would start with like, I'll have like a French fry, and then it's like 2 cheeseburgers and beers, and yeah.
And was it just because you were extra hungry that day because of?
I don't know. It's like I wasn't trying to give myself like big cheat days, but sometimes it just wasn't up to me.
Gotcha.
And so I would just look at that, and like the app I had like a little graph. So you'd see like a line of like how good you were, and then this like terrible day. And it's like, so I would kind of like the next day, shoot a little lower, just try to chip away at the damage.
Try to balance it out a little bit.
Yeah. So
I hate to sound like a broken record, but your sleep quality most likely sucks.
Aww.
It's one of the biggest things that we talk about on the podcast. So many guests have come on and talked about how sleep can help you stick to your diet, stick to your workout plan, lose body fat, gain muscle, all the good things that you're trying to do, but it's hard to do because you might be snoring. And if you're snoring, that's why we've partnered with Hostage Tape, which is mouth tape that you can put over your nose, your mouth, when you're asleep to help you stop snoring and breathe through your nose. But if you have been breathing through your nose this whole time while you've been sleeping, it's going to be a little bit difficult to get air through there. That's also why Hostage Tape has nose strips to help open up your nasal airways and make it easier to breathe through your nose when you're asleep. Now, your partner won't be having to with you when you're asleep because you'll be actually breathing through your nose. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yes, that's over at hostagetape.com/powerproject, where you guys will receive an entire year supply of nasal strips and mouth tape, all for less than $1 a night. Again, that's at hostagetape.com/powerproject. Links in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
How did you stumble upon calories? Like, did you watch a video or like? Because, I mean, you said you found a calculator, but how did you even know that was like the right way to go?
It seemed like the only sure thing. It's science.
Like, I just need to eat less to some degree.
I understand that, like, you gotta burn more calories than you eat to lose weight. And I think it's honestly, in my mind, and I don't know anything, but I think that's kind of the basis of every diet. And I think all the other diets where they're telling you what to eat, it's like a way to almost trick yourself into being in a calorie deficit. If you go on keto and you're in a calorie surplus, you're still going to gain weight. If you're on like the Mediterranean or whatever other things there are and you're in a surplus, you're still going to gain weight. I think the diet where it tells you what to eat makes it harder to be in a surplus. So mine was, I don't really care what I eat. Try to get the protein, be in a calorie deficit.
Yeah, like if we share an idea with someone and say, hey, if you just eat natural foods, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
They don't really know what to do with that information.
Yeah.
They need something more precise.
Yeah.
And even with natural foods, they eat a ribeye, they eat a potato. I mean, the calories are going to start to overtake what was intended as being a nutrition plan that was going to help someone lose weight.
Yeah. Well, it's I have a friend that's kind of like toying with wanting to lose weight, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna eat celery," and then he did eat just celery for the day with an entire jar of peanut butter.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think that's good. It's like 10,000 calories in a jar of peanut butter, but and I think like letting yourself have what you want, just trying to have some control on the quantity. If you want that donut, that's fine. Probably gonna be hungry later, and you're gonna go to bed hungry.
That intuition of zooming out and looking at it as a weekly process, I think, is really important because what is a donut or slice of pizza if however many meals you had for the week, I don't know, say you had like 30 meals or something. If 28 of them are really on point, then the donut and the slice of pizza probably doesn't matter.
I think like telling yourself no flat out is really hard. And so I wasn't telling myself I couldn't do something. It's just if you eat that, you're gonna have to catch it up later somewhere else. That was it.
Yeah. How did you end up able to control your hunger? Because you went from eating a lot to then, like you said, 1,300 calories.
Yeah, it's low.
It was honestly like maybe a few days of transitioning, and then I was just pretty much fine.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if it's like your stomach is expanded or not, or I don't know what goes into it, but I did notice as I approached kind of the end, as I did get pretty lean, it's like you're paycheck to paycheck on food. I mean, if you eat and you're good, but then you get hungry again and it's like you're going to die. But when you're fat, you've got pretty much what you need for a while just attached to you.
You're welcome.
You know, and so like I think that, and I didn't do like a keto diet, but I imagine like you kind of get into ketosis from just low calorie. I don't know. But somehow you're living off your own body. We were talking about that show Alone.
Yeah.
Like the guy that won just got like super fat, went in there and took a nap. You know, and it's like
He slept and he won.
yeah, I mean those people aren't eating enough calories to stay alive, and if they walked into that lean, they wouldn't make it. They had that surplus going in. I had that surplus going in.
How about like the sweet tooth? You mentioned like the Quest stuff and the Quest bars and all the fun foods that they make, but when you give somebody that's not on the same plan or anything, and you're like, here, try this, it tastes just like whatever, and they're just like, this is bullshit compared to my actual donut. Did you have to how did you switch that over from like, you know, I know you said if you want the donut, go ahead and have it, but throughout this process you had much less of that and more of the Quest stuff?
I think I was just so hungry, like anything tasted good. But no, I mean I went through like, there were some Quest flavors I didn't like. I found one I did, and that's pretty much what I ate.
Simple.
Yeah, it's it was challenging, but I think, I don't know, I don't have a problem putting my head down if I want something.
Yeah.
And it took, you know, an amount of time till I was the one that wanted this. It wasn't someone telling me to do it. That it was just off to the races.
There's a bodybuilder, this young guy, his name is Sam Sulek. He's just getting like immensely popular. See, Andrew, see if you can find a clip. I don't know if he'll have success finding it, but he's talking about like a Wendy's chicken sandwich that he has after his workout. And he makes the point that you're making, that many people have made before, that there is an overarching calorie equation to this whole thing. And people are watching this guy, you know, eat this Wendy's chicken sandwich, and they're just, it's not standard thing that you see a lot of bodybuilders do. But this guy's like 21 and he's just in crazy shape. And his whole point is like, my body can afford this. I just got done with a workout. This is just a calorie equation. There's not that much calories in here, even though I think he had like mayonnaise on there or something. But people are like flipping out. Like the fitness industry can't handle that somebody's doing something with, I don't know, just like a different style, a different flair.
Yeah.
And they're like, they want to see this guy, you know, eating the chicken breast dry with rice and
mustard,
broccoli, and pouring mustard on stuff. And it doesn't have, you know, fitness doesn't have to look that way, and getting in shape does not have to look that way.
I'm not sure if this is it. He's talking about a pre-workout. I don't know if that's the thing.
Nah, we'll find it for like another show or something. Okay. But anyway, yeah, this kid's super yoked and super jacked, but he's, you know, just making your point. And there's a lot of people who've been talking about this for a long time. Lane Norton being one of them. He's been on Joe Rogan a bunch of times, and there's a lot of other people. And I think the message gets confusing sometimes. And what I would say about it is that I think that calories are an overarching theme to pay attention to. However, I do think that sometimes for some people, things get a little bit more complicated. Like if you were 260 for like 10 years, I'm not saying that the calorie equation wouldn't work, but everything might just be a little more tricky. And as Nsima was pointing out, when you pull that many calories from yourself, you may have been exponentially more hungry.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you started out most of your life, doesn't sound like you were fat before, right?
I'm always a little chubby.
Yeah, but not like super heavy,
no.
right? Yeah, so I think, you know, sometimes some people run into some, like, I guess, other complications that make their metabolism not as well suited as the next person. But in general, if you pull those calories down, you're most likely going to lose some weight. And if you're not losing, as you pointed out in the beginning of the show, then you probably need to consume less.
Yeah, and there's probably different stuff that works for everybody. Me, it's pretty hard to argue with this math. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. I think it's the same with, you know, the exercise side of it too. And I've listened to you guys on the podcast for a while talk about different stuff, and it's like the whole sprint versus deadlift thing that you guys just talking about. But it's like, I don't know, whatever works for you, whatever you're going to continue to do. So some people that might be something else, but if it works, great. And then it's like my buddy Mitch is a CrossFit beast, and it's terrifying. And I tried, and it wasn't for me. More of just like I'll go to the gym and kind of work out hard, but not like that.
You got to make him unload the truck full of meat.
Yeah, but he's I mean he shoes horses for a living. He's got a physical job. Then he comes home and crushes like the most insane workout you've ever heard of. And as I got into shape, though, I would go work out with him occasionally, and I really enjoyed it as like a mental exercise. And can you make it? But you walk in and he's like eating pre-workout with death metal playing. It's like it's pretty intense. But yeah, no, it's not for me. I like it once in a while, but for some people like him, I mean, that's what works for him. He doesn't go to the gym and just lift.
I think there's some really cool aspects to CrossFit. Like one of them just being the fact that you can get a really great workout in a short period of time.
Yeah.
A friend of ours, Jason Kalipa, he's always doing these wild, crazy workouts. And some of them can only take, I mean, there's like a little warm-up phase or whatever, but you can really just demolish yourself in like 10, 12 minutes. Yeah. He'll do something on like an assault bike, and he might do something with a kettlebell in between, and you're just getting smashed.
Yeah, I worked out the first time for like 25 minutes, and I don't think I could walk for 5 days.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how it happened, but yeah, I mean, it's just kind of each person find what works for them. But at the end of the day, I don't think you're not going to probably work off a shitty diet at the gym.
Yeah.
It's really hard to burn 1,000 calories, and I could eat it in like 30 seconds.
When you're lifting, are you following a real specific program, or are you just kind of, because you mentioned you work out with your CrossFit friend here and there, but when you're working out by yourself, are you trying to do something?
I've kind of just danced around with it. I had like a real, as a guy that doesn't really know anything about it, I'd do like, chest and triceps one day and back and biceps a day, and then something else. And I just did it for so long that I got bored and just would switch up to do something different. As I got a little leaner, I started doing and could do pull-ups. I got really into more, pull-ups, dips, some body weight stuff. And I did learn like some movements from that CrossFit that I really liked. Just, I didn't like dreading it for 3 days before you went and did it.
Yeah. Yeah, we were just talking the other day just about push-ups.
Yeah, push-ups.
And we're discovering all kinds of different movements and stuff. You saw when you walked in today, I was just doing that exercise on the tire there. I was doing like it's called a Jefferson curl, where you're just trying to get my back to open up and my body to move around better. I try to look at training a little bit more as like movement, rather than just the way that I used to do it was to just try to lift as heavy as possible in these like 2 or 3 different lifts that I was training for. And so it feels good. It feels good for me to be able to move better, and for me to be able to walk into the gym and just start doing squats and just start doing lunges without, pain and stiffness in my back and my knees and so forth.
Yeah. No, it's for me too. I mean, and I think for everybody that's kind of starting out, you don't know, and you don't need to know a whole lot. I'm only a little ways into this, and it's like I've learned a bunch along the way. Yeah. What works, what doesn't work, what works for me, what other people like that I hate. And even like in talking to you, you left me some really good information, but at first it's like step 1, like I'm fat. I'd like to not be. And then, you kind of get a little more detailed as you go. So,
yeah, you think about like how'd you learn how to hunt?
Yeah. Well, it's just like, it'd be an overwhelming amount of information for someone who doesn't work out of shape, doesn't think about their diet, to come and hear like everything about it. Like, here's the piece. You just do this one little piece for now. And then like, once that piece is working, you add a little bit. And yeah, like you said, same with hunting. I find that with my son, like he has a bow and he shoots, and like I'm trying not to get down there and like critique his form. It's like, dude, just launch the arrow. It's fine. Like in the correct direction. But that's about where we're at.
Yeah, not at dad.
Yeah. But it's like all that stuff with archery for him and with hunting, it's like, it'll come in time. So
yeah, he's you give him information overload and he won't be able to do much of anything.
Yeah, it's going to just mess you up. And I think that's the same with like the exercise and the diet. I mean, just start doing something. You guys talk about that, like, oh, go for a walk. And it doesn't take much.
Is there any other exercise that you threw in there? It sounds like you're doing quite a bit with the treadmill and the lifting.
I've actually kind of been backing off a little bit. You know, I don't want to get out of shape, but like, I mean, I just kind of got to where I wanted to be pretty quick, and now I'm just kind of maintenance, I guess. So I'm not lifting as often. Also, I haven't, you know, I was out of state on an elk hunt, and it's deer season now, so I got better things to do. But for me, it's just going to be like, I hammered my way down to where I wanted to be, and now it's just kind of a casual, don't let it go.
Sick.
I mean, I don't have a sport I play. I'm not like a fitness influencer.
You hunt. Like,
so yeah, it's like, but it's like, and for me, it's like as cool as like 25-inch arms would be. That's not helping me, you know. And you know, so I just want to kind of maintain the no waste, kind of stay lean, keep my legs going.
You have a desire to do like those crazy kind of hunts that people do, like where they're hunting, I guess it's maybe goats or something. Sheep.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's another one where,
I mean, those are crazy expensive, I think, but
yeah,
sounds pretty wild.
Sheep hunts are expensive?
Yeah, the ones with like the big ass
I don't know what I'm
horns.
talking about.
like bighorn sheep. Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
It's a like winning the lottery if you draw a tag.
Why?
Or if you just, there's just so few given out and so many people that want to do it.
They hang out in the weirdest spots.
You're like top
right?
of a mountain somewhere.
And they can just like chill on like this little ledge.
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But no, you can, I mean, if you said I want to and I'm going to, and you had the money, you could go do it. But it's, I mean, you're talking, I wouldn't even know. I bet you, I mean, tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars just for the opportunity.
Easily 50K or something.
yeah,
You get like you get like helicoptered in, right, to a spot sometimes, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, there you go. Those guys.
Okay, those aren't the sheep I was thinking.
No.
Yeah, those guys are kind of intimidating.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that ram their heads together.
Fuck you up.
Yeah. No, and for me, it's overwhelming, all the hunting I want to do. And like, I got to kind of try and balance it a little bit with the business and the wife. And my wife's really, really cool. But, I mean, I left for Idaho for like a week, like 2 weeks after having a kid.
There's a lot of, there's a lot of people listening right now.
Yeah.
Going, yep, I deal with that.
She wasn't thrilled, but she kind of, I mean, we're still here. So
There we go.
yeah.
Yeah, my brother-in-law goes to like a deer camp thing every year. He's gone for 6 days, 7 days or something like that. And my sister-in-law's like, "You're going again this year?" He's like, "I go every year." So like he's like, "You know, I'm going like around this time." And it's just, it's a thing. It's a hobby. I think when somebody does love something, you know, it can be difficult to support them in that all the time, especially when you got 3 kids.
Yeah.
But if you can do it, it means a lot to those people, right?
Yeah. No, I appreciate her putting up with it.
Did any of your like hunting buddies give you shit for dropping so much weight?
No, I think there's like a natural progression you're going to go through if you're kind of a chubby guy with mean friends that says you're going to lose weight.
Yeah.
And it was exactly like, actually, I think I read it on the internet somewhere. Like, this is what people are going to say. So first day I, you know, no thank you to the like burrito or whatever it was. Just told everyone like, I'm dropping a bunch of weight starting right now. And everyone says, yeah, right. And then as you start to, people start saying, oh, you're going to, how low are you trying to go? And they say, oh, you'll be way too skinny at that weight. And then it gets to like, are you okay? But I think like the one thing I think is universal, and like I felt it, like, I mean, I was a big guy. I identified as a big guy. I don't really feel like I'm tall now, but I don't feel like, but I wasn't big and strong. I was just big. But I think most males that are overweight will overestimate what they should weigh if they were lean. So at 260,
That's very, very true.
I'd be like, oh yeah, I'd probably be pretty fit at like I should get down to like 220. In your mind, you're thinking like, I look like Mark at 220. And then you get to 220, you're like, oh, I'm still just kind of a chubby guy, you know? And so there's no bottom number on it. I mean, go till you get where you want to get. But I think most people, and I have, like I said, a friend, he's overweight and he wants to lose weight, and asked him what he thinks he should weigh. And he said he's like 300 pounds. And he said he'd get down to like, 220. Well, he's like, I don't know, probably 5'9". And I just asked him, like, well, how much do you think you could bench? He's like, oh, I don't think I could bench more than like 185.
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's like, I hate to break it to you, man, but like, you should probably weigh like 160. Because
you should whatever bench your own body weight.
Well, whatever's making up this mass,
right?
If it was muscle, you'd be able to lift some more weight.
That's true.
So it's like some guy that's a big.
This is a guy that cuts up like meat all the time. He's looking at stuff from a different perspective, right?
Well, you get
you can like see your body composition.
Well, you get like a big guy that thinks he's a big guy, and he is a big guy, but a lot of it's fat, and it's like you should probably be able to do like bench your body weight and go lay down and just see what you got. Because if you're 260 pounds and you can't bench 200, you probably shouldn't weigh 220. You should probably weigh a lot less. But I think it's like pretty common that guys overestimate what they should weigh lean.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you so much for bringing over that meat.
Yeah, it's been fun.
We're excited about it.
You got some deer for dinner?
Congratulations on the weight loss, and congratulations on the little baby. Hopefully that little baby, you don't stick it on the sheep right away. You
a few years.
Yeah, give it a couple years to grow a little bit.
Yeah.
But thanks again, man. Appreciate it.
No, it was fun hanging out. Thanks, guys.
Strength is never weakness. Weakness is never strength. Catch you guys later. Bye.
That was good.
Thank you.
Cool. Is that decent?
Click this episode right here. The episode we just did with Adam just batted away any of your excuses for not getting in shape. And this episode's going to do the same thing, because some people think you got to be rich and wealthy to get fit. Well, maybe you do. Or maybe you don't. Click the video.